Hey YouTube, Kira Qualia here, bringing you all an update to my Cardfight Vanguard Glory Maelstrom deck profile for post-generation Dragenesis. We have the new Grade 3 for the Aqua Force Maelstrom deck, being Blue Storm Supreme Dragon Glory Maelstrom, working on the multiple attack playstyle that the Maelstrom deck is meant to utilize, along with our set order for the deck. Maelstrom is just a very powerful card for the deck, so wanted to bring you guys all my variant of the deck. Big thanks to my buddy Nick for letting me borrow his Maelstrom deck for the video. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So we'll go ahead and start off with the ride deck. For the ride deck, we have the energy generator with our starter, consisting of Officer Cadet Eric. When wrote upon, if you went second, draw a card. Our grade 1 is Tier Knight Theo. When wrote upon by a unit with only Aqua Force for its clan, search your deck for up to one Blue Storm Armada card, reveal it, put it into your hand, and shuffle the deck. So just being able to search out for that Blue Storm Armada card also gives us access to Judgment Maelstrom, our set order to use in the deck, and our grade 2 is Marine General of Restless Tides Algos. When wrote upon by a unit with only Aqua Force for its clan, look at the top 7 cards of your deck. Chip to one unit card with only Aqua Force for its clan or Tier Dragon from among them. Call it to rearguard and shuffle your deck. Some more setup for your many different Aqua Force rearguards to use for this play. So very useful for the ride deck unit to have for that setup. And we're using the Blue Storm Supreme Dragon Glory Maelstrom for the main grade 3 in the ride deck. More so for the fact because of this card, you don't have to have Blue Storm Dragon Maelstrom in the soul like many of the other encounter decks. This one, you can also have it on the rear guard to gain the additional abilities for this unit. So it's just a much more faster setup to use Glory Maelstrom in the ride deck and then just set up Blue Storm Dragon Maelstrom on the rear guard circles. Before we get to the rest of the units for the deck, our main go-to set order is Judgment Maelstrom. This card, you play it if you have a Vanguard with Maelstrom in its card name. When this card is put into your order zone, activate all the effects below. Choose up to one card with only Aqua Force or its clan or Tier Dragon from your drop. Call it to rear guard. So if your opponent takes care of your Blue Storm Dragon Maelstrom, this card can help to get it back onto the rear guard to use. And you can also additionally choose one of your rear guards and it gets +5 until end of turn for each other Judgment Maelstrom in your order zone. So just more setup using this order. The more you set up, the stronger that your initial setup will be for this card to begin with. For the additional grade 3s we run in the deck, 3 copies of Blue Storm Supreme Dragon Glory Maelstrom. On Vanguard during your turn, if your rearguard or soul has Blue Storm Dragon Maelstrom, this unit gets all of their act abilities, and all your front row gets +5 for each Blue Storm Armada in your order zone. So the added pressure that the other orders were meant to do as well. And on Vanguard, when your Blue Storm Dragon Maelstrom attacks a Vanguard until the end of this turn, this unit gets +5. It's the 4th battle of this turn or more. Draw a card, choose one of your opponent's rearguards, and retire it. And when your unit with Maelstrom in its card name attacks, rest 2 Blue Storm Armada in your order zone, and your opponent cannot call Sentinels from hand or guard circle until the end of that battle. So just having a unit with Maelstrom attack makes all the more pressure, because then we also have our Vanguard attack and the rearguard Maelstrom attack, making it all the more difficult for your opponent to guard against. For the other grade 3s, we run 4 additional copies of Blue Storm Dragon Maelstrom. Just because we're not running it in the ride deck, we want to have as good of a chance to see this card on the rearguard circles as well. And for the fact that we also give the act ability, which is the discard a card from your hand, choose a unit card with only Aqua Force for its clan or Tier Dragon from your soul, call it to rearguard, and it gets the rearguard when this unit attacks. If your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater and it is the first battle of this turn or more, count +1, stay on this unit until the end of the turn, and then also put it back into the soul. So just more setup, being able to also use units like our grade 2 Algos, having the rearguard ability when this unit attacks at the 4th battle of this turn or more. And you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Maelstrom in its card name, it gets +5, and when this unit attack hits a Vanguard, draw a card. So it added draw power for the unit we potentially called out from the soul to rearguard. For the additional grade 2s, 3 copies of Tidal Assault as well. When this unit attacks, Soul Blast 1, choose one of your Vanguards and with Maelstrom, and it gets +5 to end of turn. And at the end of the battle, this unit attack, if it's the 2nd battle of this turn, and you have a stood Vanguard with Maelstrom, you can counter +1 and stay on this unit, giving you more chances for the multiple attacks to be able to do to hit those 4th battle attacks for your Vanguard to make full use of its abilities. And 4 copies of Flow Strike Brave Shooter. It gets +5 for each Blue Storm Armada in your order zone. And from the back row rearguard, at the end of the battle, your other rearguard in the same column as this one attacked. If you have a Vanguard with Maelstrom in its card name, counter +1, choose one of your rearguards guards, swap position with this unit and that one. So being able to then have another rear guard to go into the front row. If you persona ride, you'll give that additional plus power since it's your entire front row. That gives the plus 10 power for this unit. And also the 4 copies of Maelstrom Dragon. When this card is discarded from hand during your turn, if you have a grade 3 grade Vanguard Maelstrom discarding, Energy Blast 2, call it to rear guard, just giving you more setup, making use of the discard power for our ride deck option or just from the hand for the cost of our Blue Storm Dragon Maelstrom ability as well. And on the rear guard or the guard circle, if your Ore Zone has Blue Storm Armada, this unit can intercept from the back row and it gets plus 5 power and plus 5 shield as well. Added pressure and used for that 10k intercept thanks to this grade 2. For the new grade 2, we're also running 3 copies of Tier Knight Dragenesis. If you have a Vanguard with only Aqua Force, it gets for the only Aqua Force option. So then having this unit be regarded as Aqua Force, and when it's placed on rear guard, if you have a Vanguard with only Aqua Force in clan, look at the top 7 cards of your deck, choose up to 1 card with Maelstrom from among them, or 1 Blue Storm Armada card from among them, reveal it, put it into your hand, and shuffle the deck. If you reveal a card, choose a card from your hand, put it into the soul, or discard it. So this could potentially also be used to get Maelstrom into your soul with its first search ability, and on the rear guard, at the end of the battle, you attack. If you have a grade 3 or grade Vanguard with Maelstrom, counterblast 1, choose one of your rear guards and swap positions with this unit, giving you more options for your other rear guards to also attack with the swap power that is most representable for Aqua Force. For the grade 1s, we are running the 3 copies of Dancing Cutlass. Ideally, I do want this to be a 4 of count. There's just a lot of space to make use of in the deck. So if you want to run a 4th copy, you could run a 4th copy and replace one of the Maelstrom Dragons for this card. If you have a Vanguard with only 1 clan and your G-Zone has no cards, it gets the ability to, when it's discarded from hand during your ride phase or main phase, Energy Blast 3, draw a card, and from the drop, remove 2 cards with the same card as this one, and countercharge 1. So you do counterblast a lot in this deck, so having an option to, bind the 2 cards with the same name as this option, and then countercharge definitely does come in handy the more you set up Dancing Cutlass in the drop zone as well. And then also the 2 copies of Wheel Assault. The end of battle this unit boosted. If you have a Vanguard Maelstrom, Soul Blast 1, choose 2 of your rear guards and swap their position. So more rear guard swapping thanks to this card. I honestly considered running more copies of Wheel Assault as well. If you were to do so, you have to mix around some of the additional copies of units you run on the deck. Maelstrom Dragon, Flow Strike Brave Shooter. It gets very tricky mixing around and fitting cards in the deck to be able to use for the Maelstrom lineup. Anyway, with the last of the grade 1s being the Sentinel lineup as well. So for that, we have the 4 Stoicheia Sentinels, just the standard choice for the deck as well, with our trigger lineup being the 7 critical added pressure with the restrictions for the Maelstrom attacks against our opponent, the 4 fronts for the Frenzied Arrows, just with all the swapping of rear guards and the additional restanding you can do, you should still be able to have plenty of rear guards ready to attack thanks to this card. And also the 4 heals, just the Rhythmica Kiwi, and lastly the Valnute for our over trigger of choice, just with the restand option for more and more rear guards in the deck. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed. Once again, big thanks to my buddy Nick for letting me borrow the deck for the video. And as always, until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And Kira Qualia out.